Surely it's got to be even better than last week, doesn't
That's
it?
what I was going to say, yeah. No prep.
Welcome to the Turf and Tools podcast. This is podcast number 2. I am Tim the Lawnmower Man. I have my co-host, Karthik, Obsessive Lawnie, here with me. How'd you feel about the first podcast?
It was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Internet can be brutal, so I was expecting lots of comments telling us how rubbish we were, but everyone was very kind, so
I guess it helps
good.
when there's not a ton of people watching / listening.
But you still had enough people that there was. You'd think if there was someone that had to say something about how poor we were, they would have mentioned it. But nah, it was good.
We did make the charts, surprisingly. Yeah. The barrier for entry on the podcast charts must be extremely low because somehow on Apple Podcasts we were number 1 in Home and Garden or something.
I wanted to ask you about like number 1 in Sydney, in New South, but then I went, you're number 1 in something. Why would you bother asking that question?
I posted it on Instagram. I thought we'll claim that anyway.
Yeah, I've got no idea on where we were number 1. And what was it, 27 on Spotify? Again, I kind of went 27 out of who, but yeah, anyway, I don't want the answer.
First one out of the way. I was happy to get it out of the way. I did have Nick from Lawns in Good Nick before we started. He's like, oh, have you got like 7 or 8 shows planned out? And
pre-planned?
You got all your structure? And I'm like, no, we just decided 3 days ago to do this, and we're doing it.
And I mean, Nick's been awesome, hasn't he? He's given us shout outs, both like the first
Nick.
one. Yeah, absolutely appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we're up to show number 2 now. What have you been up to the last couple of days?
Not much. I think I tinkered on my own lawn day before, just planning ahead for what I want to do for oversowing for winter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then mowed a few lawns today, but God, it was hot. It was not pleasant. So
humid. I was out mowing and I could literally wring out my shirt like a chamois at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it was that doesn't sound all that appealing.
Yeah, see, 5 years ago, before I got into lawn care, I used to hate hot weather. I was born in a hot weather place.
I was going to say, it's pretty warm over there, isn't it?
Yeah, and I detested it.
Yeah.
And then we moved when I was a kid, teenager, to a cooler place. I love the cold weather. I love the mountains. But then lawn care kind of got me back to the hot weather because it helps the grass grow better. But today was one of those days where, I wished it was cooler.
It was, nasty. I was out doing a free mow Friday.
Oh, you got one done today?
I did. Well, semi-done. I've got to go back tomorrow to complete it. But had to stay local. Didn't have a lot of time. So I did
little block?
Standard around here, like 450 square metre.
So lots of hard edges, lots of...
Yeah, which I don't mind doing them around here. But I find that whenever I do them, there's a lot of comments along the lines of, why are you mowing for free for rich people? Which, they're places that look like yours or mine.
We just broke dads and mums trying to pay a mortgage.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know about rich.
People just trying to scrape by in Sydney.
Yeah.
I think people just see...
Big houses, yeah.
Yeah, big and new and just assume that these people are set. So, the guy was really... he was from India, actually. Surprise, surprise, around here.
There's a few of us around, yeah, for sure.
And he said he goes back and does charity work and stuff there. So
where at? But we're back.
I didn't go into. Come on, mate.
I reckon he was bullshitting you.
Maybe he was actually a really
just
good
like
guy.
A family out. That's charity, right?
He's like, I feel bad because you're not getting paid. I'm like, no, it's all right. This is how I make my money. I make these satisfying videos but it was so hot out there. I didn't do a ton, but like I said, I was just dripping wet.
Yeah.
Had all electric gear today.
Nice.
Actually, I say that, how we were talking last podcast, you said you saw that guy that was just cutting lawns with the line trimmer.
It turned out to be a blade. I sent you the video. Yeah.
So, as it did turn out to be a blade, and I thought that'd be a good way to kind of do a full lawn. Well,
I watched his... content as a whole and realized he's actually on a coffee plantation in South America.
Okay.
Which I grew up / back home on a coffee plantation as well. I remember last time I'd been there, and the next time I go, I've got to get you some clips of how they use line trimmers over there. So no PPE, in thongs, and I can see what he was doing because he's not actually mowing a lawn per se.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't have lawnmowers either. And they just use the line trimmer for everything.
Yeah, okay.
And
it's a versatile tool.
And still seems to be the popular brand as well. But yeah,
Still? Okay.
So I'm meant to go at the end of this year. So hopefully I'll get you some videos and we can use that in
Sounds
podcast 50 or something.
So yeah, I was intending to use all electric gear just because I wanted to try out some stuff. But I kicked off with a grass blade, knocking down the Kikuyu. It wasn't like, it was good because it wasn't like Kikuyu with the horizontal runners, you know, that spaghetti runner stuff. It was just that new leaf Kikuyu. So it kind of slashed down. Actually, not that well with that blade. I want to try another blade because when I just went to the line trimmer, it was just that much better. I was using the Ego commercial line trimmer.
Okay.
The STX 4500.
What style of blade were you using? Was it just the normal weed, what do you call them? Weed
No,
whackers or
I
whatever?
wasn't using the Ego with the blade. I was using the Husky 535 with the blade, and then I gave up on that and just I had the Ego with me, and I like that machine.
The Ego one?
Yeah. Again, it's none of them are perfect.
I know, but I remember you getting the Greenworks commercial and you liked that one, the VP, but then you used that for a bit and then you got the Ego as well. And I could just tell, I could tell you enjoyed that Ego commercial
They're
unit.
different machines. Like once the Greenworks has the motor in the head, so it's a different feel with different balance.
Is the Ego a multi as well?
No, it's not.
It's a
just
dedicated one, but the Greenworks was the multi, wasn't it?
No. Greenworks is just a
Dedicated one as well?
yeah, because it's got the motor in the head.
Okay.
And
And what mower did you use? Sorry for the battery overgrown.
Milwaukee. I pulled the Milwaukee out.
Handled it okay?
Yeah, because I did all the work with the line trimmer, then raked it up.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
You obviously, as always, found the hardest way to do it.
Yeah, I just like to try things differently. It's like, and I know I'll get a lot of comments. Why don't you just do the what? Like it's.
But that'll be a boring video.
Things, I've done hundreds of these videos. I like to change it up, try different tools, try different methods. So I enjoyed myself a little bit more today than previously I had. But I wish I had got a new weed, not removal method, but. I've got a what do you call them? The burners with the gas in the can. What's it called?
Like a blowtorch.
Yeah. What's the gas called? Whatever it is, I can't think. But I've been burning them.
What's that going
in
to
the
do?
cracks? We'll kill them.
But they're not going to get to the roots, are they? I mean, you'll burn everything you see.
I think
but
that extreme heat
you
surely
reckon?
has.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I tell you what I used it for, and I probably shouldn't admit this because I'm sure someone will try it and do it in an unsafe fashion. But my patch out the front, the Sir Grange, if I let it go a little bit too long, and then I do the edges, because it's quite a dense grass, you get so much of the clippings in the garden bed.
Yeah, in the mulch.
Because it's fine leaf and you can't do anything about it, so it just kind of piles up. And I was just looking at this little blowtorch the other day, and I thought, what if I just set them alight?
Lighting it on fire reminded me we got to wait till the US starts waking up from their winter, because you know how they do the whole burn the lawn thing?
I've seen a few people do it. I've been keen to do it.
I can see why that works. I just don't think we are allowed to do that legally in Australia. I would assume. Again, you're the fiery, so you'd be able to tell me.
That's I can't.
Can you imagine? You'd get all above ground touch in one go. You just burn it. And if it's stiffed off,
they still go over it afterwards to clean up.
Yeah, you're just getting burnt bits, but all you've got left is rhizomes, and it's half the work, right?
But that worked for me with the clippings. Because they're so fine leaf, they were so dry. You didn't have to hold the torch on it and wait for them to. They just went straight up, tiny little. Like I was holding a hose. Yeah. But they just burned like little kindling. And stopped, and then I just wet it all at the end to make sure that there was going to be.
Good lord!
No, it worked perfectly. It looks.
And the mulch was fine around.
A couple of bits are a little tiny bit scorched, but it's
just sounds like a dumb idea. But okay, it works.
Look, I did
so
it.
If it's not
it's a dumb idea, but I did it in a safe manner, and I got a good result. So
cool.
I was happy with that. Other thing I saw, I got a message that mower with the line trimmer or the line trimmer attachment for the mower.
The trim XS?
That we talked about in the first podcast, that viral thing. If you didn't listen to the first podcast, we saw just a viral video of a lawnmower that's got this whippersnipper attachment on the side of it, attached to the wheels. But I clipped that little section from the podcast and put it on the Turf and Tools Instagram, and someone sent me a direct message, and I took it really personally because I was like, nah, 2 thumbs down. And I thought they were talking about the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm getting ready to load up going, like, we're just giving it a go. Come on, give us a break.
2 thumbs down for the tools.
And I just thought, I'll play this a little bit. I'll play this a little bit easier and just send a question mark back. And he goes, that tool, 2 thumbs down. I'm like, I thought you were talking about the podcast.
Well, okay, that's the purpose of this podcast anyway. Talk about tools. People are allowed to like it, dislike it after watching it. So
absolutely.
It's good. Okay, I'm glad you didn't pull the trigger too early.
Well, I just thought he was having a mad go at someone that's having a crack at a podcast for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But into news for the week. When I say news, this was sent to me by a listener/viewer, which was good. If you've got any suggestions for news or new products or anything, let us know. Milwaukee have got some new attachments for their multi-tool power head.
Okay.
If you don't know what a multi-tool power head is, what is it? It's a power head. You can put different attachments on it. You can put a line trimmer attachment on it. You can put a hedger attachment on it. So very versatile tool.
Just one power unit that can then power multiple tools.
Yeah.
So you don't have to buy 10 different tools, basically.
So if storage is at a premium for you, potentially a good idea.
Yep.
Milwaukee have their version of it. They call it Quick Lock is their attachment, which is pretty good. It slides in pretty well. You know how some of them slide in and it's kind of fiddly, and you're like, doesn't feel that good. I don't mind their Quick Lock one, but they've got some attachments. First one of note would be they've got their version of power rotary scissors, which they call reciprocating scissors. Which very good. I've known a lot of people that have asked if they fit the Milwaukees. So the price was, what was it, 500 and something? Was it 529? I'm not 100% sure. It's on pre-order at the moment.
All right. So it comes with obviously it's an attachment, so it's not just the head only.
Yeah, so it comes with essentially half a shaft, and then you've got the head, which is their reciprocating scissors.
It's priced to compete with everything else in the market in that same one, I guess. Yeah.
So, not a bad option. If we spoke about power rotary scissors last week, if you've got the Milwaukee M18 Power head, that's a potential upgrade for you. They've got a bed definer, which is probably also something that, extending from last week, you were asking about doing edges when you've got a natural edge. It's kind of like a blade edger, but it's got more of a wobbly blade, and it carves out, like for around...
Like a little trench almost, isn't it? Kind of,
yeah. Basically like a little trencher for if you're going around trees or you've got a natural garden edge or something. That's $449.
Okay.
Yes. The Milwaukee stuff is never cheap. I've definitely noticed that. But I will say, all the stuff I've tried, I've been pretty impressed with the quality of it. They've got a cultivator as well, which you've tried. You've tried the Ryobi one, haven't you?
The Ryobi one. Look, it's good for light work in general. I mean, it depends on what power unit you're using, and we're talking like I don't know what battery unit was the Milwaukee attachment for?
The M18.
Okay. Yeah. So look, it's good for light. You're not going to be like starting a paddy field with it.
Look, if you're buying an attachment,
I use that for the Zoysia project and the Ryobi one. 36 volt, and it did what it's supposed to do. I wasn't expecting it to, like I said, dig like really deep. Yeah. It did its job, so I'm sure the Milwaukee one will be fine. Yeah, it's good to have the option, right?
This one I didn't see before, a short shaft hedge trimmer, which sounds kind of good if you look at that. Actually. I like that. Because I've noticed anytime I've used one of those hedge trimmers on a multi-tool power head, they feel awkwardly long and awkwardly heavy and awkwardly balanced.
100%, yeah. Like, remember the text I sent you to say, have you got a hedge I could borrow? Yes. That's exactly why, because the one I've got, it's good for when you got to do like stuff that's above you, but for little hedges, I've got to stand like so far away from it to be able to use the tool.
I've noticed Ego in their new range has a really short, complete hedger unit, which I have no real use for it, but I just look at it, how small it is, compact, and I'm like, I'm small, it's small. It's like we could be a good fit.
Yep.
That Milwaukee hedger attachment is $269. So
these are all brand new, like releases.
I believe they've just from what I've been told, could be long. This one, I would never buy one of these. There's so many good blowers out there, they've got a blower attachment for a multi-tool. Can you imagine the awkward weight on that thing? I've seen the still version of it. I've seen people run their multi-tool.
I mean,
with that. How much is it? $279.
Well, they're not the first ones to make that, and I've seen them before. So I don't know. I think I know it looks big in the front, but I reckon the weight's all on the shaft, so it probably doesn't feel that awkward. But I don't see the purpose of it.
It's got to be awkward.
Outside of you really not wanting to buy another blower for some reason, and you kind of go, and I don't want to buy another blower for, like, you're adamant about it. I don't see why that comes in handy, but it's available for people that want it, I guess.
The options there, that's the main thing. But
not a fan.
It's a hard no from me. New one coming out there.
It's good for people with the Milwaukee, though. There's a few extra options if they do want any of them. They can pick it up,
Milwaukee, bringing out, they're really going hard in the outdoor power equipment stuff. I've seen when they dropped off their dual battery line trimmer for me to try, their, what do you call it, the broom attachment, the brush attachment, which... I don't know, if you had artificial turf or something, you're trying to brush sand into it, something like that.
Yeah, I guess. I know. I guess if you've got trees that drop a lot of seeds and stuff like that.
It's a very specific tool.
Is it just for artificial turf, is it?
No, I see that's what you would use it for. I've seen, there's a guy called Phil's, I think it's Phil's Lawn Care, does similar stuff to me.
Okay.
The overgrown makeovers and that. And he does a lot of the, once you've carved out all the edges and there's all that excess dirt there when it's overgrown,
uses the brush.
Whereas I'll rake up or blow, he brushes all that stuff and it kind of looks satisfying. So I do want to try it.
Reckon it'd be quicker if you had to.
I don't think it'd be quicker. I don't think it'd be quicker. No? I think it'd be much of a muchness, really.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my personal opinion too. But so some new Milwaukee attachments on the way. Believe you can pre-order them now.
Someone needs to engineer a multi-attachment that you can core your lawn with. There's no lawn corers available.
Core your lawn.
I know it sounds ridiculous, but with all
Karthik's got this obsession about someone bringing out a home user corer.
Lawn corer.
Hollow tine corer.
Come on. We've been to the moon, apparently. We've do all this stuff. We've got electric cars out there. We've got to find a way a home user can buy a lawn corer.
The problem is that they're heavy-duty things, and generally the better ones are really heavy, which doesn't lend itself to being...
It doesn't have to be as good as the commercial ones. We're not trying to compete with those ones, right? I'm just saying, give us an option.
We will talk about the topic of this podcast. I didn't mention it at the top of the podcast because we are new to this, but it is the Motorola. Oh, I'm
Rotarolla,
going really well. I have to mention it is now nearly 7:30 here at Store Hub. The sun is going down slowly. It's quite beautiful out there, isn't it? I've been out all day in the sun. Karthik's been out, so a little bit tired. Masport Rotarolla, rear roller rotary mower. We'll talk about that shortly. A couple more news items. I get a lot, I'd say, and I'm not even exaggerating, I get at least one email a week from some random company, generally China-based or whatever, with a new robot mower. Hey, can you try out our... I'm not even exaggerating. A new one every week. Most of them are wire-free and all that. So that space is just... The amount of competitors there is just blowing my mind. But this week alone, I've had 2, and I had to share with you the email exchange that I had with one of them about this. Oh, they just got back to me, actually.
You're starting fights with people, mate?
No, I'm not. No, not at all. I thought it was interesting. So initially they asked me my price for a review, and I told them for this that I'm not currently charging for reviews. Because
good reviews, yep.
It's hard if you're charging for a review. How can you review something?
Get paid and say it's rubbish?
Yeah, or just be honest about it.
Sorry, just drop that.
I mean, I would never bag something out saying it's rubbish, or if I thought it was something that was that bad, I'd say to the people, hey, not up to scratch.
Yeah,
I can't show this stuff. I don't want to be bagging you out or whatever, but I wouldn't show it. But they were asking for prices, and I just said, no price, and then they were happy with that, obviously. But then they asked,
did you tell they were happy with that? But did you tell them that if you didn't like it, you would let people know as well?
I just said, look, if it wasn't up to scratch, I just wouldn't make a video on it.
Yeah,
so I'd try it first, give it a go. Here it is. So, they were happy that I was happy to review it for free.
Yeah.
They're kind of a hard thing to review because I've got my backyard and I can set it up in there, but it's a very basic rectangle backyard.
Yeah.
Not a lot of, no obstacles.
And you can't really do a short-term review on robot mowers either, can you? It's not like you just use it and say, oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You've got to kind of leave it to do its thing for a while before you can review it anyway, yeah.
So, yeah, they're not the most fun thing, apart from just looking at it, going, look at the features, setting it up, and apart from that. But, yeah, so I said I'd do the review, but they then emailed me to ask if they wanted to, could they provide a script for my reference in the upcoming project. They believe having a script will ensure clarity and consistency in our communication.
How is it a review? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was just busy at the time, but they got back to me again. And, then they asked if I was interested in help with our script, if I needed help with script writing and video editing as well. So don't have to write the script now. Don't have to edit the video.
Perfect.
All I've got to do is read a bit of paper.
And you were
send them the footage and whatever.
Yeah.
And I just said I don't do scripts. I do reviews. They're my opinions. Happy for you to send any documentation. But, it's you got to be careful with that. It'd be very easy just to take the money and just say the script. And And I've knocked back a lot of money for this sort of stuff just because I've got a longer term view of it. I don't want to do a little cash grab here, little cash grab there to say whatever a brand wants.
I don't know, man. I've seen your place, yeah. It's what's it, 9, 10 bedrooms? I don't know.
Anyway, I thought that was interesting. That's the first time, I've had people wanting to pay for reviews or whatever, and it's a really blurry line. But that's the first time that someone's offered to script write and edit the video.
Yeah, you're going to call them up? Who is it?
No, I'm not going to do that. But like I said, I'm getting at least one of these a week. There was one which I actually...
So, why robot mowers? Is it that big a market? Because I think we've talked about this before. Is it just because they've already got the tech for other things they're making and they're going, well, we've got the tech already, might as well put out a product as well? Or do they actually think there's a market for it?
I don't know what the go is, but I think we could do a full podcast episode on robot mowers.
Just robot mowers,
But I've said many times, and I went and checked out Ecovacs. I tried that one out, the goat, and I lent that to a random person near me and went and checked up on it the other day. And, it cut great, and his lawn was actually looking better.
I watched that video. How long's it been at his place now?
It's been about 6 weeks.
And how's the lawn looking?
Well, problem, he's got Kikuyu.
Yeah.
It's got a terrible, you can tell, it's straight laid on clay. It's never going to be a nice looking lawn.
Yeah.
But the comparison from when I turned up to now, at least it's a cut, manicured, even lawn.
Okay.
And it looks slightly better, but he's never going to have a nice lawn there.
Has he been keeping up the edges and
somewhat? Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. And I asked him, I said, would you buy one? And he liked it, and he was like, he loved walking out the back and going, oh look,
I don't have to do it. Yeah.
But he still had to do the front nature strip. The other side of the nature strip, the small patch out the front.
Because he had the select cut too, and I kind of went, okay, so at least he's not gone bought the cheapest mower out there necessarily.
Yeah, so most people won't know what a select cut is, Karthik. That's an Ego battery mower. So he'd gone out and splurged on, not the cheapest battery mower by any means. So he'd spent the money, and that was his argument. He's like, I would buy one, but I've still got to do there, and I've bought this stuff, so it just doesn't make sense for me at the moment. But that's the biggest barrier that I see. Obviously, we're in our bubble because we live in one of these new areas where all the places, they're 500 square metre blocks at most.
Yep.
And there's lots of different little sections of lawn. A lot of the time they're poorly designed and they just don't suit these robot mowers, in my opinion. So I think they would be awesome for larger, older style blocks, like a 1/4 acre block with a big backyard, like in those older areas.
100%, yep. And you think about what you're paying upfront for like a robot mower and think about what you get back on a larger area as well.
Yeah.
Compared to your options, I think they're perfect for those.
Yeah.
I don't think suburban Sydney is the market.
But that's where houses are going. That's what new builds are. That's what new suburbs are like. So I know all the robot mower places or manufacturers are very excited about it, and it's the next thing. But the future is places like this.
Like you said, bubble. So I don't know. Like, I don't want to make judgment on what places are going to be. Sydney, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
It's just going to be more of the same, and we've resigned ourselves to that.
Yeah.
What it's like across the rest of the continent, what it's like across other parts of the world.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's why I said we're in our bubble. We only see what we see. So people probably think it's a little bit closed-minded. But, in these sorts of areas, like I said, we can do a full podcast on robot mowers.
Yes, because the thing that surprises me, like Ecovac said, right? And you rated that mower pretty good, all good. It's just, I'm curious on why a brand that is not in this landscaping space at all previously chooses to get into this space. You know what I mean? Because they don't make mowers, they don't make anything
But they do
else.
robotics. They do robot.
Exactly. So I'm kind of going easy because they've got the tech already. And they're going, well, there's another market we can get into.
Yeah,
it does well.
It's market expansion for them. But the next bit of news was another one of those. Actually, I can't be too late. I've got a Zoom meeting with these people. This one actually seemed...
Do it live on the podcast.
This seemed interesting, really interesting to me. I sent you the link for it before. Bring it up now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know, this might not come through. As I said, I haven't spoken to them directly, just a few emails. But I just wanted to talk about it because it kind of looked bizarrely awesome. I've always liked the idea, even with the Ecovac Goat, on the app, you can control, if you want, you can drive the
mower,
around. And it's pretty limited. You've got to stay within 2 meters or whatever, and the Bluetooth drops out every now and then.
Yeah.
But the novelty of just driving around a little lawnmower I really like.
Yeah.
So when this one, I just thought it was another robot mower, but they describe it as a remote control robot mower.
Oh, it's got a catcher and everything.
It has a catcher as well. So, and traditional style, obviously no one can see this. It's a traditional style-ish deck that looks like it's got...
well, technically it just looks like a new, like a normal lawnmower.
Without the handlebars.
One of those EV versions.
Without the handlebars.
Yeah.
So it's got a catcher. It's got bumpers on it, big-looking wheels. You control it with a remote control.
The whole time?
Again,
don't know.
I'm going to have a chat with them tonight about it. I'm actually interested to see...
what it is,
I just think it'd be extremely fun. I can't think of...
Don't they make versions of this for commercial applications where you got to mow against hillsides and slopes? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. That's where those sort of things would shine, where the potential risk of rollover for an operator or... but I think this is more of a domestic machine. So maybe, people with really slopey sections... Mm-hmm. It would be attractive for them. But
if you don't want to walk, I guess.
It does say launching soon on Kickstarter. So I've got to be very wary of that sort of stuff because they can send me out something prior to release, prior to it being on sale, and I'd be like, oh, how good's this or whatever, and does it actually then go out to retail or whatever? I do worry about that sort of stuff. If people are using you for, let's give this project some legitimacy, get it out to...
I don't think any reviews you do is giving it any legitimacy. It's all right.
No, that's a fair comment. But the idea of a remote control domestic lawnmower...
Look, it's cool as long as it's also capable of doing what a normal robotic lawnmower does.
Yeah.
Because if it's just remote controlled and that's it's...
Well, it might be more for slopes and that sort of stuff then. But it's a traditional sort of mower. It's got a bar blade...
Yep.
On it. It has a catcher. There's also an attachment you can get. Again, I've only briefly looked at this. We will talk more about it.
Yeah, I'm curious because you don't want to push one so you drive it around with the remote, but it's got a catcher, so you got to empty the catcher at some stage as well.
So it self-empties. That's one of the features that they highlight.
Yeah.
So that you back it up to wherever you back up on your property because you're not going to be doing it in our area.
Yeah.
And it just the catcher goes up and it just dumps it in a pile there.
Tell you what, even if no one buys it, I want to look at one of these.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Just to play with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds cool. And it has an attachment some sort of hose on the side where you can vacuum up leaves while it's going or so. I don't know. Again, I'm going to find out more about it. I got a little bit excited and thought, let's talk about it. So cool. I'll let you know how we go next week in the podcast with that. But I would like to definitely try that unit. It looks interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah. Over to our topic of the week, or equipment of the week. This is something I picked up from Western Mowers and Chainsaws last week, which was awesome because I didn't have to deal with the box, didn't have to put the handlebars on. A side note, and I know it's an extremely first world problem, when you get lawnmowers and stuff, as you know, sent out to you to try, they come in the box and...
You got to assemble it.
Yeah, when you say assemble, it's handlebars, throw some oil in it. But it's just annoying after a while. It just gets there and you're like, oh, okay, I've got to do this again. It's not hard to do, but it's just awkward to do with one person normally. And then you've got to get rid of the box as well. So the novelty wears off after a while.
Yeah, downfalls of running a review page, isn't it?
Yeah. So the thought of picking this up from the dealer was lovely because it was assembled, ready to go, no box.
No one's got a bad word to say about that place, that shop.
No, they're good, really good. They've been really good to me.
I've dropped my Scotty a couple of times to him for random servicing and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's absolutely lovely.
Yeah,
I don't know how he manages to be nice to everyone.
So the mower we're talking about is the Masport Rotarolla. The version I have is the self-propelled AL18. I guess AL is aluminium for...
I didn't think of it, but yeah,
deck,
SP's self-propelled, yeah.
And then 18-inch, obviously. So it's just sounds like a normal mower, obviously, but it's a normal rotary mower in that it has 4 swing-back blades on it, so cuts like most of your mowers out there. It's got 2 normal wheels at the front, but at the rear, it's got a drum, a rear roller, if you will, which you'd traditionally see on a cylinder mower or golf green mower, that sort of thing. So it's a rotary mower, but it's got that rear roller, which means you can stripe up your lawn. Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to stripe up your lawn. That is the option. It's going to do it.
I think it's... I don't know how long it's been in the market. I don't know what other options are in the market in Australia for mowers like that. But I think it's long overdue. I watched your vlog, I think today, where you used it. I'm kind of excited to test it out.
You want to give it a go, do you?
100%. Especially after I've... if I oversaw with the ride like I do plan for winter. Because anytime I've seen it, I think it's used quite commonly in the UK and stuff, if I'm not wrong.
That's what I was going to say.
On the cool season stuff.
Older YouTube videos.
Yeah, because I think Australia, if you're using it on Kaiku and Buffalo, the fact that it's got the normal rotary mower style cutting, it's good. But to actually properly stripe it, I know your Kaiku you striped up, but it was still young grass.
Yeah.
So if it's a mature lawn, you got to really burn it in.
Yeah.
But UK style where it's rye or fescue and stuff.
Rye. Like how good does rye stripe
exactly,
up?
right? So I don't actually know how it'll work in the Australian market, but I'm excited to test it on the rye once I've overseen it.
I was interested because I just saw in the lawn groups a lot of people were asking about it, and I had seen it. I'd actually done a short video on it when I was at the mower store.
Yeah.
And I just thought now's the time to give it a try.
What'd you say it retail for?
$12.99. So this is the cheapest entry point if you want a rotary mower that has a rear roller.
Yeah.
This is the cheapest entry point.
And what cheapest cylinder mowers come in at like 17, 18, 1900 approximately?
Yeah.
So I can see, I think for people that kind of get really into their lawn care, don't want the hassle of cylinder mowers, I think there's a place for it.
Definitely. I think it's the people, once you go down the cylinder mower rabbit hole, it's just a whole another level.
It is.
Like you can rotary mow and get your lawn looking absolutely beautiful, but once you get to that point, you just feel like you're missing something, and you see people cylinder mowing and stripes and all that sort of stuff. You could get something like this and maybe be satisfied.
It's a lot more forgiving than a cylinder mower would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Forgiving on your lawn and your pocket, to be honest, as well, because...
well, your lawn doesn't need to be perfectly flat to use this thing.
Yeah, 100%.
A cylinder mower, as you know, it really needs to be a flat lawn.
Yep.
I used it yesterday or the day before on my backyard, and came up pretty well. And that's a sad-looking lawn at the moment. I want to try it on some other stuff, but I wouldn't be using it on super, super small lawns where you've got to navigate a fair bit. If you've got a 2 metre by 3 metre section, I don't think it's the mower for you. Or you've got an awkward garden next to it where you need a bit of turning space with these rollers.
Mm-hmm. Is that okay? So sorry. So because I haven't used it, so I'm gonna rely on you because I'm actually curious about this mower myself as well. So if I had a cylinder mower,
yeah,
and I had the lawn you just described, which is small, tight corners. We know cylinder mowers can be hard to use, but if I'm sort of really keen on wanting that really nice striped lawn, I'd deal with that and still get a cylinder mower anyway. So you reckon, I know it's not perfect for it, but would it still, like, how does it move?
It depends what you're talking about. Like, if are you talking about your tight spot, your front top patch?
Let's call it that, but I'm just picturing something. Yeah.
Because I'm talking about, like, my front patch with the Surge
just
range.
The up and down. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know how, like, it's probably...
No runoff space and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's probably 3 meters by 5 meters tops. Not even. And it's surrounded by garden bed. So, yeah, there's no runoff space. It's just going to be awkward to turn it around.
Yeah.
They're not as maneuverable as a normal rotary mower because of that. But even I noticed it's not as maneuverable in some ways as the cylinder mowers because, you know, when you really want to maneuver a cylinder mower on a corner, you can really tilt it back.
Yeah.
It's got a bar at the back that kind of prevents you from doing that because if you tilt it back too far, that kind of digs into the surface. Okay. So you really can tilt it a bit, but you more got to drive it around, if you know what I mean. So,
and does it have a traditional style? Actually, did you describe the mower? Because there's people listening and not looking at video right now.
I did say it's a normal looking mower, normal looking rotary mower, except that instead of having rear wheels, it's got a rear roller at the back.
Okay, yeah.
So it's got a normal catcher. It's not a massive catcher because this is only the 18-inch version. It's 45-litre fabric catcher. There are 2 other models. There's the next model up from this. It might be, don't quote me, it might be $150 more, $200 more. Same size. Height of cut is different. It cuts slightly higher, but doesn't go as low. And it's also only 2-blade as opposed to the 4-blade. So I don't know why it's more expensive. Whatever. But there's also a 21-inch version, which again is more expensive. I don't know the exact pricing. I think that's a single bar blade, 21-inch, but still, you know, cheaper than anything else on the market. Slightly. It's a self-propelled mower with a roller, so you've got a little bit more weight there. What is the weight? I think it was like 39 kilos. Which
so for this one here, 18?
This one's 39 kilos, which, you know, isn't too bad for a self-propelled mower. I noticed I was able to move it quite easily, just rolling it on its front wheels, you know, lifting up the back, because those rear rollers can damage your concrete. Like if you had an aggregate driveway or something.
But what's that going to do to your handlebars and over time? I mean, having to pick it up.
It'll be fine.
No, it'll be fine?
I think it'll be fine, yeah. That's how I would... Well, that's how
So what's your thoughts, though? You reckon there's a market for it? You reckon it'll do all right? Yeah. Because these mowers did exist in Australia a while back, because I've seen older...
Oh, in a rotary?
Yeah, I've seen older versions of them. I've seen really old versions of them, early days when... You know, we all kind of go through the same phase when you get into cylinder mowing, where
Karthik, if I have to ask you...
Every podcast, maybe it's a thing now where my phone just goes...
Unbelievable.
So I have seen older rotary mowers with the roller, that style of thing in Australia. We know it's existed in the UK and stuff anyway, but clearly it didn't take in Australia because it's disappeared. And it's coming back now because obviously the whole stripe lawn look is coming back as well.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of going, is there enough of a market for it?
I think there would be, just from the interest I've seen on groups and that sort of thing. It's going to be your lawn enthusiast or whatever that buys it. It's not... It's still a niche bit of gear, you know, because it doesn't have the versatility of a normal mower. You're not going to be doing a mad scalp with it or something.
So what you genuinely, like, you used it today, or whenever you used it, what you like about it, what you don't like about it?
I just liked that it was a striping mower, but it was just a normal rotary mower. It was just as easy to use, essentially, as a normal mower. The bale for the self-propelled was a little bit weird. Most of the cylinder mowers, self-propelled, you pull the bale and they sort of take off a bit, that I've tried anyway. I found it, you almost had to sort of give it a little push to get it starting.
Okay.
Which just a bit of getting used to.
Does it get up to full speed fairly quickly after that?
Yeah. It's single speed, self-propelled as well.
So if theoretically we just said it's not good for small spaces and small lawns, right?
When I say small, like my backyard's small. I've got
Yeah.
40 square metres out the back, but it's just a rectangle, so I can easily do up and back, stripe it up nicely.
Yeah.
It's
So
fine.
if you did have a bigger area with a single speed, was the top speed okay, or would you get frustrated that it wasn't moving fast
No,
enough?
I think it'd be okay. I think,
It'd be okay?
Yeah, I kind of like cutting a little bit slower anyway.
Okay. Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough.
But yeah, I'm going to be trying that out for a few weeks.
Free more Fridays, striped up?
Don't think so. I don't think so. I
Maybe-
kind of want to throw it into something overgrown just to see how to go through it, but I'm just like, that just sounds
I
like a
think
nightmare.
that sounds silly, but maybe you could do a free more, go back and stripe it up for them afterwards. Maybe a week later when it starts greening up.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how we go there. Height of cut, I did mention before. It's somewhere here on my cheat sheet.
Right there. 12 mm to 48.
12 to 48. Okay, so
That's pretty good.
yeah. Not a massive range though, hey.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to find a normal rotary mower. Forget a roller
Yeah.
in the back. Normal rotary mower that cuts down to 12.
No, I meant the max.
overall
48
range.
48
Yeah,
mils, not all that high, but yeah, I mean, more
Who's
than
going to
enough.
stripe a lawn that's taller than 48, right? Unless
The
you're in the
Americans.
US.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, trying that out. It's got a Briggs on it, 163cc. I did mention it was the cheapest in its category. The other two options that I know of, there may be more that I don't know of. You're looking at that sheet like you saw something you wanted to
No,
comment
no,
on.
no, no, no. Well, I was going to ask you about catching versus does it do mulching as well? Because I know people are very passionate about.
Well, that was a weird thing. I mean, I did a video on it yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm bagging. I took the bag off, and it's got quite a wide rear chute. Like it's very open. You know how normally a self-propel mower, that half of it's gone because it's a self-propel gear. This has got the it's like chain-driven self-propel at the back, which is kind of on the side like a cylinder mower a little
Okay,
bit.
so no belts, just chain?
I think it might be a belt initially. I couldn't see internally. Like it might be a belt initially and then onto a chain.
That would explain why it takes off a bit slower / you
Yeah,
got to
maybe.
push it.
I don't know. But yeah, I had the rear flap open and then I closed it, and it's kind of at an angle. And I'm like, oh, this kind of would work for rear discharge. But I'm thinking, and I said that in the video, I'm like, so I guess you could rear discharge, but like who on earth would want to rear discharge? Like,
Well, I'm trying to think. So the blades would cut it.
yeah.
The roller would stripe behind, and then you got
yeah.
clippings around.
If you're striping your lawn, who wants to have clippings all over it?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying you want to or don't
Yeah.
want to. I'm just kind of going, is it capable of or not? Because I don't like with the
Yeah.
Masport. Remember the other ones have that
The rear discharge, yeah.
Yeah, with the little flap on the side of the back. Yeah.
It does have the Masport dual mow zone, which
Okay.
you say, okay, you don't know what that means, do you?
No idea. No. It covers two zones, doesn't it?
It actually means that the blades extend past the edge of the wheels. So it's not like the blades aren't set in from the wheels. So
Okay.
it means it covers more. It covers your whole wheelbase.
Yeah, so you can go
and a
edge to
tiny bit.
edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of them have like a single, what do they call it? Again, I just lost the name of it. The mow zone. Some of them have single mow zone. So on one side it'll go past the wheels, the other side it won't. But
Yeah.
this one has
Yeah.
dual.
Okay.
But yeah, back to the competitors. WeBang,
Yep.
which again, really
Toro-
unfortunate name to start with. Obviously, it's like a Chinese, whatever. But
Yep.
I'm just saying, like, it's got WeBang. It's all I think of is my mower's blowing up.
I don't know. Maybe the dude's surname was V-Bang. He can't help
Oh,
it.
I know. I'm just saying, translation-wise, it doesn't.
I've seen the V-Bang before,
Yeah.
and I think it was pretty much the only one available on the market here in Australia in recent
Yeah.
times anyway.
I did look up the
I've
pricing.
seen the Toro stuff in
Okay, so
the
we'll
UK.
say the
Yeah.
WeBang first because it's
How much is
cheaper
it?
than the next one.
How much is it?
I had the pricing car thing. What have I done? I was prepared. I've got notes here. It's on my phone.
Come on, man. Preparation's your thing. I just turn up.
It was much more expensive. You have a look while I talk
shall try and
about
find.
the most expensive.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, anyway, these are the only three rear roller mowers that I know of available here. The Toro, which I think it's called the Pro Stripe. Again, I had these notes. Pro Stripe 560. which is a 22-inch, I believe.
Oof, that's a big unit. Okay.
$36.99, so $3,700. But that's got a Kawasaki commercial engine on it.
That's got to be like a commercial unit, I think. Yeah,
Exactly.
not for homes.
It's just, and a lot heavier. So the Wee Bang is 57 kilos.
Yeah.
So a lot more heavy duty. The Toro is 66 kilos.
Can I just say, I swear there's either Allet or Dennis or one of those companies in the UK that also makes.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because I've seen videos of like, the soccer stadiums and stuff getting striped up with.
I have seen the Allet ones, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, but
they're
Australian
the full
market.
commercial. You talk about those real wide ones, don't you?
Yeah, like really big ones, like striping up soccer stadiums, Yeah.
So, there's a couple of other. Anyway, doesn't matter. Wee Bang and Toro, they're the other options, much more expensive. So, this is the entry level point. There are 2 other ones on the market. I'm going to be trying it out. I'll bring it over to your house. We'll give it a go.
Yeah.
There at some point. Maybe we can stripe up the lawn here at Store Hub.
Why not?
I don't want to tread on. I did ask them when I moved in here who does the lawns, because there's quite a bit of lawn down the side.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that'd be a good place to test mowers. But,
they've got someone coming?
well, they're like, oh, one of the other storers does it. I'm like, damn it.
One of the who?
One of the other people that stores here. I'm like, I don't want to tread on toes. So, but that would be very handy, wouldn't it?
But just let them know you can mow it. They can pay him. Saves him having to come down.
I'm sure they'd be happy if they got here and the
win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
We get a lawn to mow. The guy gets paid.
Well, that's probably about it for this week. We've been rambling on a bit again. You got anything else, Karthik? Or?
Nah, I think I'm good. I want to get you to start doing that Ozito review. I think people are waiting for that one.
You know what? I filmed 90% of it. I always do this. I get something, I'm excited about it. I go out, I try it, I film everything. And then I've got to film. I want to film it on another couple of lawns. Mm-hmm. And
all right, just give us like a early thoughts. Just early thoughts. Does its job?
Oh, it cuts the grass, doesn't bag well. That's
good.
The roundabout.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, that's the roundabout review of it. But sometimes I overthink these things and they take too long. That's all it is. Other stuff's come. I've been busy, but yeah, we will get that out.
Cool.
We'll get you having a turn of it too, so you can have your thoughts on it. But thank you for joining us for this podcast, our inaugural nighttime podcast. The sun has now disappeared.
We got to do more of these night ones, I think, so we can have a beer every time.
The beer does help.
Yeah. It just feels more natural,
It does, doesn't it? And we've got a nice cool change now. Karthik, on that
Sorry,
note,
guys.
have a lovely week. We will see you next Tuesday. If you could please give us a rating, preferably a high one, on the iTunes. I'm getting tired. Have a lovely week. See you later.
See you guys.